Well, welcome back here to the Hive. I'm Jason Groth with Lance Rock as we get ready to go for our final match of the night here from the Hive. As what should be a fun one. It's Perham against, Badger Greenbush Middle River, as I get our graphic correct here for this one. Should be a fun one between these two teams.
Right, and I kind of misspoke at the end of the last one, as I did get kind of excited about the Lakers wrestling squad and gave them 2 wins when Perham actually had knocked them off. Both of them were within about 4 points, so I can see the same thing happening in this one. There's going to be a lot of key matches. Again, if you're the Yellow Jackets, I think you don't want to be less than 10 points ahead going into the final 2 bouts, as you see the number 1 and number 10 rated wrestlers in the state of Minnesota. So building that early lead, bonus points, probably going to be the key to this one early. And who better to start it off than Chandler Mickelson. And Chandler Mickelson is now 19-4 on the season, and I guess he's going to get a easy 6 points here as they go open. And that's kind of the sign of the respect of how Chandler Mickelson's come on this year. So his 20th win, congratulations to Chandler Mickelson.
And now we get ready to go. It's Christian Berg against Johnny Ramos.
So Berg bumping up from 106 where he wrestled in the first one, wrestling Johnny Ramos, a 7th grader. So Berg, an 8th grader, Ramos, a 7th grader, Berg wrestling up a weight class already and maybe trying to figure out where they want to give up those points. They had a couple open weights, Badger, Greenbush, Middle River did in the first one. So I have a feeling this is some strategic moves for the Gators. And if you notice, and it looks a little different, they dim the lights. They're under the spotlights as Ramos takes a takedown, goes right into a cradle with 1:16 remaining. Jason will fill you in. Our scoreboard's not working the way we want it to, so we are your scoreboard tonight, and we'll try to help you out. And Jason's been typing it into the chat, so if you can take a look there, and we'll do the same and try to give it to you here. So 1 minute remaining. 2-0 score in favor of Ramos on that quick takedown. He did not get that cradle in where he felt comfortable, and so now we're kind of starting over again. So nice start by Ramos and a nice start by Chandler Mickelson getting us that quick 6.
And you might notice we switch angles, but we have the whole mat covered for you as you're viewing in, and we thank you for tuning in. I'd like to thank also the viewers from BGMR that helped us out earlier as well, as for BGMR, Vasura setting a school record.
Yeah.
205 wins. He's going to look to expand that some more. We touched on that a little bit when you see him later in the night. Perham's going to want to have a big team lead before he comes on the mat.
Nice armbar there by Ramos. I kind of wish he wouldn't have gave up on that so soon. He looked like he was going to have a turn there. 7 seconds remaining, so a good job by Johnny Ramos kind of getting us started with a 2-0 lead, and it looks like it's going to go 2-0 into the second period, and it's Red's choice, and the red team will be Badger. They defer. So Badger Greenbush with Berg defers. Johnny Ramos and the coaching staff for the Perham Yellow Jackets say, let's go both up. You had a nice shot. And he does just what he should do when the coaches show that faith and trust in him. He goes into that double leg and gets another takedown. So 4-0. Nice job, Johnny Ramos. A lot of stuff going on tonight for the Yellow Jackets. We covered a good girls game last night. Jason and I did, and we kind of flip-flop roles when it comes to wrestling and basketball, help each other out the best that we can. And a great overtime game resulted in a loss for the Perham Yellow Jacket girls, but excellent game to cover, and now the boys are on in Moorhead, which is something that hasn't happened for a while. So lot of action if you're a Yellow Jacket fan. We got great action right here with 1 minute remaining in the second. Johnny Ramos up 4-0. Some great movement there for Berg. Results in nothing, and Johnny is doing a great job trailing him And fun to watch Johnny grow here. He is 5-17 on the season, not wrestling like a kid with a record of 5-17. And I think you see that a lot of times when you get a 7th grader.
You definitely see he's growing, and you just see a lot of these youngsters for this Yellow Jacket team is kind of growing strong. And I think key to that has been the schedule that they've faced. I've talked about that a lot this year in the COVID. They faced several strong teams, along with being in a very strong section as it is.
Right, and another credit I'm going to give is to the coaching staff, Dave Vetch and Kyle Trout and Kevin Felt, and you can go down the list of real positive role models and getting these boys to really believe in themselves. And I've watched that happen match to match to match, and it's really been fun to watch that evolution happen of a kid going out like Johnny Ramos, really feeling almost like he didn't have a chance to win, and now going out there and saying, this one's mine. And you can just see that in that, and doing a good job, and that ends the second period, 4-0 Ramos. So I would love to have seen some back points there. It is the third period, and Berg is going to choose down. And we'll see if Ramos can continue to ride.
And you mentioned that. We talked about it a little bit, too, for the Yellow Jackets. It might have been a nice little brief. It's not what they wanted. They didn't want the weeks off, but it might have been a nice little reset for some of these guys as well.
Right, exactly. And a quick little chin drop there by Ramos gives him 2 more back points, makes it 6-0. So now it's one of those dangerous things where you almost stop thinking about, is it going to be a win or a loss, and you start thinking, can I get some bonus points for this team? You know, and we'll touch on it as we get closer to it, but Dominique Vasura coming in at 220, number 1 in the state champion last year, 52-1. NDSU commit, and didn't disappoint in our first match, wrestled a really, really accomplished wrestler from Howard Lake, Waverly, a number 9 in the state, and major decision him. So great job there. And here comes Johnny looking for those bonus points. He's got that armbar chicken wing type look in there, and he's got him tight back. He's going to get his count. And, boy, that shoulder's getting there, and there's 50 seconds remaining, so a long time to be in this position as Johnny's just kind of pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling here, and we're going to get a potentially dangerous, I believe, here. And so we're going to get 4, I believe, as he maybe was a tap-out situation. So we'll see what happens there, but now 10-0, and that was in tight, and that looked uncomfortable, and a good job by the official. In all cases, you always would like that pin if you're a Yellow Jacket, but you also want the safety of the wrestlers to be first. So 10-1 with an escape there. So now we're down to that tricky 25 seconds remaining. 10-1 is 9 points, so a takedown here for Berg would now change this to a regular decision and would save a team point for the Gators.
You may have heard in the background the coaching staff from Perham trying to do some work there as that period was coming to an end, trying to keep Johnny a little bit on the aggressive side there.
Right, a nice job by Ramos picking up a major decision, and changes our team score to 10-0 in favor of the hometown Yellow Jackets. We head to 120. We have Caden Felt for the Yellow Jackets, and Jackson Janasek for the Badger Greenbush Middle River Gators. So I believe a battle of a couple of sophomores here. Really, I think you can see this on TV. They're built eerily similar, long, lanky, and I always think Caden's kind of a tall 120-pounder, and I think Janasek might even have an inch on him, Jason. So going to be interesting. And that allows him to do that. A shot from a long ways out, he gets in there, but here's a good job of Caden Felt being heavy on the head, doing a nice job. But Janasek works his way out of it, and again, that length is so incredibly difficult to wrestle against. So good job by Janasek, and now he kind of rolls. I think they're going to go off the mat here, and they do. And so 2-0 lead with 1 minute to go.
The speed also with the height advantage Janasek has. That shot was, like you said, way out, but quick.
Yeah, he dove in at that ankle, and sometimes you can meet that and something can happen, and I know that Caden's kind of a high flyer, so you never know what he might be thinking about there to do. Caden comes in as of tonight with a 6-13 record on the season, so 6-13. Caden was on the varsity last year, so some experience, and Janasek doing a nice job of riding and really using that length, and he's got a deep waist ride on there, and it's kind of hidden under the camera there, but really doing a nice job, and then kind of cross body in here and bringing Felt back down to the mat and flattening him out. So 18 seconds remaining, 2-0 still your score. Hard crossface right there, which he's looking maybe for a cheap tilt or on, but I don't know that it's coming right now. So 7 seconds remaining. It looks like going into period number 2, it's going to be 2-0 Janasek from Badger Greenbush, Middle River.
I'm expecting some high-flying action coming up here in the second and potentially third. Is going to be my call here in this one. I think we're going to have some points scored. 2-0 will not be it. Right,
keeping tabs on the basketball game. The Moorhead Spuds lead 29-13 going into halftime. So some work to do on that end of the state as well, I guess we can say, as they're heading up that direction. So kind of fun when we've got Moorhead, Badger Greenbush, Middle River, Howard Lake, Waverly, Winstead. We're covering the central to even southern to northern Minnesota tonight, Jason.
We got the miles in, but the nice thing is we're able to sit here at the Hive and watch both.
Right, and we're so glad you're letting us join you at your home, and we know a lot of you would rather be here, but we're trying to make this an enjoyable experience, and it's so fun, and thank you for tuning in. Not so much for us, but to support those wrestlers and those basketball players who work so hard. So, minute 30 to go, another takedown there for Janasek, and he leads 4-0 with a minute 20 remaining. And one thing he's proven here tonight is he is good on top.
And I was going to touch on what you talked about. Streaming has changed, just changed the game in the last year. And we know that's all because of the pandemic, but it's changed the game and made it possible for a lot of games that you wouldn't be able to watch normally for everyone to watch.
That is really correct, Jason. And there's two awarded there on a tilt, so extending this lead with 50 seconds remaining to 6-0 as we're going through. And he's still working on it here, and he's really putting the pressure on Felt. And Felt saw it was almost a little bait there by Janasek. He kind of laid off thinking Felt would maybe stood up, and he did, and he tried to lock up another move, but then Felt went and flattened right back out again. So nice ride here. You got to be happy if you're a Gator fan right now, as 6-0 and possibly could be more. And as you said, Jason, it's changed the game. I know for myself, I'm hardly watching regular TV anymore. I go home at night, I try to find what was covered by a local sports team, and I end up rewatching it if I haven't watched it or watching it live.
Well, it's amazing how many conversations you have just walking in the halls. We both work in the school district. You're walking in the halls talking about, did you happen to catch this game? And it had nothing to do with Perham or whoever they're playing. It's a different game in a different conference, knowing that team's coming up. Did you catch that game, or did you see this play? And that wouldn't happen about 2 years ago.
Right, and exactly. And while we were yapping away here, which is all good stuff, Caden Felt with a late escape. And so 6-1, he chooses both up. Minute 45 to go, but Janasek right right back in. And I agree with you. And nice move by Felt, but countered by Janasek for the 2 points. So there's some heavy-duty action right there, and giving us something fun to watch as we're talking. This match is starting to build, but I agree with you, Jason. Not only that, I think it's for grandparents and aunts and uncles who live far away. This is given an opportunity for them to be a part of their grandkids or their niece and nephew's lives, as I know I've watched a countless number of events from my family that I wouldn't have probably been able to see. So there's some good coming out of a bad situation.
And you look at so many of the snowbirds, the opportunities that they can just sit back and stream while they're on the beach. I know there's been people that have taken vacations and were able to watch family members and enjoy the opportunities. And like tonight, we have 4 computers running with different events going.
Trying to bring all we can to you, and certainly focusing on this match. 40 seconds remain. Looks to me, I have to look through some bars, so it's kind of fuzzy, but it looks like 8-0 lead, or 8-1 lead, excuse me, and Janasek is really putting the pressure on, which causes a stall call on Felt, who's kind of been flat here for a little bit. But one thing I know about Caden, it can be 5 seconds, and he can end up in a good situation. So hold on tight for these last 15 seconds. And definitely Greenbush, as their coaches are trying to get bonus points here, and so they don't want him to do something that he shouldn't. Now 9-1 after that stall call, so now he secures that major decision, and he's looking for some back points here. Doesn't get them as the period runs out. 9-1 win for Janasek, and 4 points put on the scoreboard for the Gators. 10-4 now your score on the scoreboard. Oh, we got a little discussion here.
And I believe 1 team point has been taken away after that match, but I didn't see which.
And I didn't see which one was. So a 6.
Oh, it's off of BGMR.
Yes. So loss of a team point, and you never want to see that happen, especially after a big win. So now it's 10-3. Bodie Deseller out here for the Gators, a 9th grader, and an impressive-looking 9th grader in the first round of action that we saw. He's coming up against a tough character here in Gareth Covington, senior leader for the Yellow Jackets, and a really hard-working kid.
And he didn't have to work. I mean, hard-working kid, yes. Didn't have to spend much time on the mat in his first match tonight. Got a quick pin, helping the Yellow Jackets in a victory over HLWW. And he's a guy that's been well tested in his career for the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, 13-9, and if you watch Gareth wrestle, you'd say, man, 13-9, how does that happen? It seemed like every night we'd go, oh, there's the 4th-rated kid in the state. Oh, there's the 3rd. Oh, Covington's got him. So Covington's been, like you said, battle-tested, and we'll see how it goes, as I was really impressed today with the Greenbush, Badger Greenbush Middle River athlete, as he really wrestled well. And 1 minute off the clock already, and you can see what kind of battle this is going to be.
Yeah, Deseller was really strong in his match earlier, as was Covington. So this one matches up to be another exciting one like we just had.
You know, and I'm really impressed with the youth and how poised they are on the mat. And I think that's one thing that all high school athletics brings out. But certainly when you're a wrestler, you're out there all by yourself. There's not 4 other teammates. There's not 10 other teammates. You're all by yourself. And you have to be pretty confident in your abilities to step out there. And sometimes that's hard to do. So 2 points there for Covington. But look at Deseller go. He's looking for the switch, and they end up out of bounds. But what a good flurry of action. And that scramble just shows the ability of both of these wrestlers and how good they are athletically.
And you look at the Covington family in general, just full of athletes and Division I athletes as well. And Covington continuing to compete along for the Yellow Jackets and continue the tradition.
Right, and I know from being up in the wrestling room how hard he works, and I know all wrestlers work hard. But you watch Gareth when he comes out of the wrestling room, and there's not a part that's not dripping wet. But a little potentially dangerous move there. Covington, as soon as the whistle blew, let off the move. We'll see if we walk it off, and we do. And so a good show of sportsmanship there, as it was the move and the hold was broke instantaneously. So 7.5 seconds remaining in the first period, 2-0 in favor of Covington.
And once again, team score, Yellow Jackets lead 10-3. 1 team point taken off of BGMR. Could play a role later, as we've had that happen earlier in a match this season here at the Hive.
Yeah, it's you hate to ever think of it coming down to that, but you just never know. So Covington takes down to start the second period. He's ahead 2-0, and we'll see what he can do and come out. And it looks like he's about there, and there it is. And so a 3-0 lead now for Covington. I don't think we're done seeing the action, though, at 3-0 as these two wrestlers just go back and forth and around, and a shot in there and met with a front headlock by Covington.
We talked about the team point. I'm not trying to harp on it too much, but it's a nice move there by Covington to extend the lead. It also gives the coaches a great coaching opportunity late in the season. How much you got to, the emotions, as we know, wrestling is such an emotional game, but it's also being controlled, and that's going to be a key coming to the playoffs. That we're going to, hey, we need every point we can get, and it's a good coachable moment.
Right, you'd hate to see that happen next week and it cost a trip to the state tournament. So something I'm sure they'll address. Covington's got it locked up nice here, and he's getting back points as we go. So nice job by Covington, and almost it looks like the break a little bit might have favored Covington a little bit. He looks really fresh, Jason, and real crisp on what he's trying to do here, and he picks up some more back points and leads 8-0 with 55.9 seconds on your score clock. And the Badger Greenbush Middle River coaching staff wanted an escape on the out of bounds as it got into a scramble situation, but official Paul Beach says nope, still control for Covington. So we go back to the center and restart with 45 seconds remaining. Here's a tilt. And you got to hold on tight. These are the dangerous situations. These are the ones my wife hated, and this is why. Because you lose your grip, and all of a sudden it negates what happens. But 2 points, near fall for Covington. 2-point reversal. Now it's 10-2. So we're right at that 17 seconds left in the second period, and I don't think either wrestler's done, and we could see some major moves happening as we get ready to roll here. 5 seconds.
And it seems like some of the tough matches that have happened a little bit to the Yellow Jackets throughout the year is where they get that big lead and the small slip up that ends up just changing the whole momentum and the whole outcome of the match. We've seen that happen a few times. But Gareth, the senior, was able to avoid further harm in that period.
Right. Deseller's really, he's going to be fun to watch for the next few years. He's great control and good movement. Does a nice job. And there you see the quickness of Covington. Kind of gets that single ankle, and now they're giving him the 2. So it's 12-2, so now a 10-point lead. They're almost off the mat. They are off the mat. The Gator coaching staff kind of questioning a little bit. It's hard to see what they're questioning. We kind of get blocked at times, but they're right there, so they must know what's going on. But a minute 38 remaining, 10-point lead here, 12-2 for Covington.
And you're right. I think you're kind of spot on with the break, kind of helping some of these guys. And Gareth might have been one of those that's been helped by the break. I mean, he's been outstanding, but a breather of facing, so many tough wrestlers during that stretch. Right. Gives him a chance to regroup a little.
And it's a grind. And I didn't want to dismiss as it looks like Gareth's kind of throwing in an arm bar here. And let's see. He's kind of stretching him out, trying to get him, and then will probably try to walk the head. Now he goes the other direction with a power half. So he's got Deseller kind of in a bad way here. Now they call potentially dangerous because of both moves being in. They had a hard time getting. It was bad for the shoulder situation there. I'll say 52 seconds remaining. But going back to your point, Jason, about being an emotional sport, all sports are emotional, but the physicality of this and the kind of the hand-to-hand combat and being so close to your opponent really leads to tend those emotions to be on ultra high. And you hate to see things that cost teams a point, but like you said, in the end, all negatives can be a learning situation, and maybe not even for wrestling, but for life. So all those skills that we see happening with high school athletics, and that's really what it's all about. Gareth's got it in again and again. I think Deseller kind of threw his elbow up, and he's kind of taking a beating on his shoulders, and you can tell as he's getting up now, you can tell when it's a tough match. You just don't quite recover and get back to the center of the circle as much as you did at the beginning. But I think he kind of threw that arm up going, now I'm out of it. He tries a quick stand-up. Gareth covers right away, trips him back down on the mat. 9 seconds remaining, so it looks like a 12-2 major decision for Gareth Covington, and a really nice match against a really quality opponent here. Will change the scoreboard now to 14-3 in favor of the Yellow Jackets, heading into 132 pounds.
And on the Yellow Jackets side also, basketball score-wise, not going well for the Yellow Jackets tonight against the Moorhead Spuds. It's 36-18.
Janasek out here for the Gators against Byer. Janasek, an 8th grader, Byer, a freshman, and Byer goes right into a body lock position. Janasek doing a great job of, and now they both dangerously close to throwing each other off the mat. And go back to that last one against Howard Lake Waverly. The Janasek, I thought they put out there against the senior, thought they were just trying to save some bonus points. He ended up taking Casey Deers, a senior, all the way to the end of the mat and really frustrated him, and this is what we've seen, but we may have an injury timeout here. So I think we'll take a break and come on back shortly and see how we pick up.
Magnitude Sports would like to remind you that whether you're watching from home or watching from the stands, to please respect officials. Without high school officials, games are canceled and players lose playing time. Contact your local high school to find out how you can become an official and stay connected to the game you love.
Magnitude Sports has delivered over 1,000 broadcasts capturing all fourth quarter comebacks, walk-off home runs, buzzer beaters, 62-point volleyball sets, and double overtime victories. The excitement is on Magnitude Sports. Over 150 teams from 5 states and 2 countries have been featured on Magnitude Sports at both the varsity and sub-varsity levels. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and select your alert preference so you never have to miss that big moment from your favorite area sports team. Find us on Facebook and Twitter too. This is the Magnitude Sports Media Network.
Hi everybody, my name's Andy Eckhoff, Business Development Manager at United Community Bank. We're a one-stop shop and our experienced staff is here to help you in any way we can. I want you to know that when you bank at United Community Bank, you have a whole team behind you, and our team wants to know your goals and how we can help you get there. We're the #1 commercial lender in the Lakes area. Come see us at United Community Bank, where the future is bright.
Well, we're back here, and after a little work with the trainer, Colton Lehman, he's back wrestling, and it was kind of one of those, I think he might have got rolled up on a little bit with his ankle. It was instantaneously, but good to see. You never want to see injury this close to tournament. You never want to see injury ever in whatever sport you're watching. So great to see him back in, and adrenaline maybe kicking in as he shoots right in on that single. Byer's wizarding really hard right now. We'll see what happens, but he's pulling it in tight, switches to a double. They're dangerously close to the edge of the mat. Byer kind of gets heavy on the head, and they crawl off the mat. So 43 seconds remaining here, 0-0, and a nice job by both wrestlers on that one. But
like you said, it was great to see, and also the sportsmanship showed by both teams and everyone. The round of applause when Janasek popped back up, and now, like you said, might have that adrenaline rolling.
Yeah, sometimes it brings that out of an athlete, especially when you're kind of pumped up in the first place. Then that injury throws a little bit more energy into it.
And it might be the after the shock part of the injury, and like, hey, it's not as bad, and now we're good to go.
And on the other part of it, it sure is nice to have a trainer on site, and you're not leaving it up to the coaching staff to try to do something medically. Colton Lehman, sitting on the side of the mat, was there instantly, assessed the situation, talked to all the coaches from Badger. What a great thing to have, and Colton Lehman is top-notch, so we're glad to have him here in Perham.
And hands down, that may be one of the biggest and best things that's happened in the high school sports world is having trainers on site, because it eliminates the fact that a coach can make a decision of putting a kid in a risky spot, not knowing when you have the trainers that are able to know and assess.
Especially when, in any sport, but especially when you're in a contact sport like wrestling or football, or though it's so nice, and now with concussion protocol, just all of the things that wrap around it, it's just, I know when my last few years of coaching here in Perham, it was so nice to have quality trainers, especially one like Colton that, hey, we need you right now, and I didn't have to make that split-second decision beside coaching and trying to take care of all the other players. So great job by most schools now, I think, in the state are really good with having the trainer on site, and we're fortunate to have a really good one. So back to action, 1:20 left on the clock, still 0-0. So evenly matched wrestlers right here, and one of those that's going to be fun after a little bit of scare there. It's nice to see them both really competing hard on the mat, and definitely a nice ride here by Carson Byer. One minute to go here in the second period. Byer still working on that ride. Tries to throw in a power half there. Again, the Gator wrestler, I think, is going to have to work his way up to his base, and just as I'm trying to spit out the words, he does that. And, you definitely look for that head off the mat situation, because that's one of the things I know the referees are definitely looking at. Did you try to get your head off the mat? And just as I say that, referee Paul Beach says, well, you haven't been working at that. Here's a stall warning. So remember, first one's a warning. Second one will cost you a point. So 0-0, and that point might be a huge one coming up here. Byer trying to ride out the whole period with 10 seconds remaining. So it would be a huge ride out. Byer probably will take down, try to get his point, and also have that stall call in his back pocket. Zero heading to the third, and you can see some pain here on Jarasek's ankle, and he's really trying to gut it out here for his team. And man, hats off to him for that. When something's hurting, it just changes everything that you do. So just hats off to him for battling through this ankle or lower leg, whatever it might be. I don't want to speculate, but he's doing a great job. And here comes Byer trying to sit out, but Janasek throws the leg over, and now he's getting awful high, and Byer might be able to sneak out the backside here. He's getting closer and closer to doing that, and not much as here comes the head out maybe, and just like I say that, we are looking at a tilt situation. So great job, and this probably favors the Gator wrestler right now, as if he can be on top and riding, he's not on his ankle, and that is probably a healthy thing. 0-0, 1 minute remaining, so let's see what happens. Byer's got a little separation here, but leg is trapped underneath, and now he turns into it, and nice job here. So we could possibly have our first overtime situation coming up, but Byer keeps trying to get up. And again, I think that adrenaline's kicking in here, and 40 seconds remain as we're going. So great job by both of these wrestlers, and let's see if Byer can get that escape and take that 1 point lead. And here he goes, and it might be a reversal instead of an escape. He's getting separation, but still holding that arm. So Carson's going to have to come around, and he's probably in a better shape to get 2 than 1. Coach Vetch is up telling him circle, 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 and he's circling, and there's the 1 point. So now there's 10 seconds remaining. Byer's up 1-0, and now the Gator coaches are trying to get the most out of their wrestler as they can, and I think this one's going to, oh no, he throws him right at the end. What a toss, and coming from injury, and literally, folks, there was 1.6 seconds, because I was just about to say with 1 second remaining that this was Byer's, but it was not. What a comeback for this young man, and that might be the match of the night, as we went all the way through without any scoring, and a throw at the end, and now I would guess they're going to tend to his ankle and get some ice on that. So nice work.
Tony Olson now on the mat for the Lakers against Jacob McCleary, and you mentioned that Janasek, they check on him on the right side, but what an outstanding match by him to pull out the victory with the throw late to get the 2-1 win to make it 14-6.
And we head on to 138, and as Tony Olson was one of our keys here, Jason, as he's one of their outstanding wrestlers. Last year was 33-17, third in the section. Looked good in the first round, and he is wrestling for the Yellow Jackets. Quite a story and a fun one for us to follow, as Jacob McCleary has come back out to wrestling and is doing a good job. His record probably doesn't reflect how he has wrestled, if I'm using my words correctly there. He has done a really nice job. Just kind of always has that way of finding himself in a bad situation right at the end. He might be leading. McCleary's 4-17 on the year. Doesn't wrestle like that, but again, this time he's up against a tough hombre in Tony Olson, who I would guess is really thinking about making a state entrance this year for the Gators.
Some exciting action happening here at the Hive, also in Moorhead. And basketball action, we got a moment of stoppage here. The Yellow Jackets have now cut it down to 8, trailed by as many as 18. And they're battling. They were down to 7.
20 seconds remaining here in period number 1. 0-0 score, so a good job by McCleary here with a very accomplished wrestler in Tony Olson. So just as I say that, Olson in on a deep shot, 4 seconds remaining, and he gets the takedown. So there's back-to-back the last 2 periods for the Yellow Jackets. We see Byer kind of get thrown, loses the match, and then in the last 2 seconds, we see Tony Olson take down McCleary.
And that seems to be kind of the thing with McCleary all year long. A strong minute 56, but the last 4 seconds, it seems like in the periods, as the opponents have been able to take advantage and get some points.
Right, and it might be just that mat presence of finishing it out. But here's Olson in a deep. But this is where McCleary's been good. He gets out of spots that I just can't believe it. And here he goes again. So there's some back points going to happen. But I don't think your average average wrestler can bend like that, Jason, and get out of those spots. So it might not be wins, but McCleary saves points by the things that he's able to get himself out of. We have a 4-0 lead now for Olson. A stalemate was called, so Olson back on top and McCleary in referee's position. But that was a spot where a lot of people would have been pinned, and somehow McCleary kind of finds his way out of there.
It's going to be interesting to watch McCleary the rest of the year and going into his senior year, sticking with it. And we all know he's an outstanding cross-country runner for the Yellow Jackets, one of the top on the boys program. And seeing him back on the mat has been bringing a lot of exciting matches.
It is, and it's really filled a spot that the Yellow Jackets would have probably had open this year. So we're certainly glad to watch him wrestle and have him back. And again, Tony Olson's just a tough competitor. You just watch him. He's just working for those points. But again, McCleary's making him work for those points. And he's just got that natural knack that I don't think you can teach kids of how to slide and how to get out of those positions that others might have given up back points again. So hats off to McCleary, taking nothing away from Tony Olson because, you look at the scoreboard, it's 4-0. It could easily be more, and he's kind of dominated offensively here. But McCleary doing a great job. 14 seconds remaining in the second period. Still 4-0 score. Yellow, here's maybe some back points. We got 2. So there was a 4 count. He couldn't quite hold him to that 5 count. And there's McCleary again, just kind of weaving his way out of trouble. So that 4 count gives another 2 points, makes it 6-0 going into the third period. And it looks like we're both up to start the third period. So the final, again, I would guess this is a spot that the Gator coaches and probably Tony Olson himself was thinking bonus points, and he's not that far away from bonus points.
Hey, Nick, when you look at Jacob McCleary, you kind of wonder, and Tony Olson outstanding, but how do you practice to face a guy as slithery, I guess is the way to say, as McCleary is?
And I think he'd make a great practice partner too, is you're going to have to work your tail off every day to try to perfect your moves to get him tight enough that you're holding him down. So again, it's those things that you don't see just on the mat. It's having another partner in the wrestling room that as Coach Mosier used to say, iron sharpens iron or steel sharpens steel. So the better matches that happen in that wrestling room across the way, the better that we're going to see of the Yellow Jackets. So another place that McCleary might be helping out the Yellow Jackets that's not shown on a stat sheet.
Well, like you said, Tony Olson for BGMR has just been outstanding. He's had a nice night tonight. Kind of controlling the flow of this match himself.
Yeah, he is. I don't think he ever puts himself really in harm's way. He's a controlled wrestler. He does some nice things, and those are the type of wrestlers you see as you get to section time and state time that they do really well. They're fairly calculated, and they do a nice job and don't give up unneeded points and put themselves in a bad situation. So 6-0, 37 seconds remaining. McCleary working in that front headlock position. Gets to a single. Olson wraps up the leg, but McCleary looks like he's going to get 2, and he does. So nice job, and that's the next step for McCleary. Instead of giving up that takedown, he takes it. So 6-2. 15 seconds remaining, and McCleary's going to work on top, maybe trying to get some sort of turn or, near fall points here. Olson kind of turns into him, faces him, and where time's going to expire here as we have 3 seconds remaining, and that's the end. But great job by Olson. Great job by McCleary. That was a fun match to call, and even better one to watch. So, the Gators are back on the board, so it's 14-9 in favor of the Yellow Jackets, going to 145.
I'm sure you saw it late there in that period. McCleary was going for the quick turn, which we saw a lot of times. Ends up haunting a wrestler, and the time not on his side, but that could have been an interesting move that they might want to review later when they think about.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right. So we have Jack Lafond on the mat for the Yellow Jackets at 145 pounds, wrestling Gareth Underberg, and Underberg is a name that we've heard for many, many years if you follow wrestling. And he's in on a quick takedown with 1:39 remaining. He goes up 2-0, and he's going to go optional start. So those of you maybe not so familiar with wrestling, you're going to see him not doing the referee's position. He'll kind of cup his hands and put it on the side of him, so letting the wrestler know. And that's exactly what he want to do, get into a side cradle and pin. So you kind of bait the wrestler into thinking that you are going to let him up, and you get that side cradle. So a quick 6 for Underberg gives them the first lead of the night at 15-14 on our scoreboard. So we'll head into 152 pounds.
And I was going to say, before that match, most of the bonus point, there was no bonus points for BGMR except for the one match. They had it taken away, but just like that, a big pin heading into 152 with Jack Fudge against Brogan Beetle, is what I heard.
I think it is Brogan Beetle, 10th grader Jack Fudge, a senior and leader for the Yellow Jackets. Jack Fudge has had an outstanding career, got his 175th win, third in state last year, currently ranked third in the state. Takes a quick 2-0 lead with 1:40 to go in the period, and it looks like Jack may be going takedown and escape route for a little bit at least, and then probably until he finds his way into some sort of pinning combination. And there is a nice drag through there, and this might be that pinning combination as the arms are trapped underneath, and this looks pretty tight, and it looks like it won't be long, and there it is. So 49-second pin there, and we flip-flop quick pins now, and it's 20-15, so the seesaw battle continues, and the Yellow Jackets go back up on top. 20-15. Nice job, Jack Fudge. Badger Greenbush Middle River open at 160. Blake Lawrence takes the victory there, and that spreads out the score even a little bit more. And it's tough to take those openings. So Damien Turo, ninth grader, comes out, and I was impressed with his strength. Definitely size advantage here for Hudson Hackl for the Yellow Jackets. Hudson's had a really nice season, coming in as a ninth grader at 170 pounds and takes that takedown right away, and kind of imposing his will, kind of locking up a cradle as we speak. Nice job, and one thing we saw about Turo, he was a hard guy to turn in the first one, but Hudson keeps working it, and now has that arm kind of trapped. So Hackl 9-14 on the season. So as a freshman wrestling at 170 the whole season, definitely seeing upperclassmen most nights. Kind of nice when he gets to see another freshman.
And he's had a lot of exciting style matches with a lot of flair for the dramatic.
Right. I think of that Grand Rapids match. He was facing a really quality senior upperclassman and was down, I think, like 9-0, 10-0. The wrestler from Grand Rapids had the cradle in, and just like we saw earlier, it slipped, and Hudson, Johnny on the spot, got the pin and really kind of set the whole stage for the rest of the match, for the excitement for the Yellow Jackets. Here, Hudson throws in an arm bar with 23 seconds remaining. So you want to go slow, but you don't have that much time to go slow. And what we saw in the first one, Turo does a nice job of just getting himself back to his base and not giving up any bonus points. So nice job here by Turo. Off of some good offense by Hackl. And in the basketball game, Jason, it seems like the Yellow Jackets pull it close, and then it spreads out a little bit, and it comes close, and it spreads out again.
Well, Moorhead seems just to have enough answers. That slow start really hurting Perham tonight, as they were down by as many as 16 at one point, but they were able to cut it down to 8, and now have the ball still. But again, Hackl just now Turo putting the pressure on. And
it looked like they were, I think the arm got the potentially dangerous arm kind of back in there. And you look at the builds of these two freshmen, Jason. I don't remember kids being built quite like this when I was in school, freshmen. So you can definitely tell in these facilities, weight rooms are now being used probably more than they were in our day. And it's fun to see these athletes just getting bigger, faster, and stronger all the time. So Hudson Hackl with another takedown now leads 4-0 with 1:20 remaining in your second period.
Well, you just see, I mean, we see it here with the nice facilities that we have here at the school and then also in the community itself at the Perham Area Community Center, as well as opportunities there. And you see the sports science has changed so much. And it's not, and more people know more about it as it's gone on, as Hackl's about to close in.
Yeah, he's got a double armbar in, and you know what? If Turo gets out of this, I was going to say he's like the rubber band man, but he does not get out of that. And Hudson Hackl with the pin, so a nice victory for Hackl. Now again, the same kind of thing starting to happen to Badger Greenbush Middle River that happened in the first one against Howard Lake Waverly. Winstead is this gap's getting too big till they get to their guys at the end.
Well, this is the one that's going to pretty much seal it if you're BGMR, if you want to have a comeback and you're facing one of the top wrestlers in the state.
Right, and going against no slouch, and that's what it's kind of interesting to see. A lot of times Vasura would have come out against Hackl and they would have flip-flopped, but they're going best on best here, as you see in the movies a lot of times when the coach yells best on best. Caleb Vasura, 170 pound, was third in section last year, 33-11, currently ranked number 9 in Class A, versus Brian Ramos, who now is, after his last win, is 19-1. He was a state entrant last year, currently ranked 10 in the guillotine, currently ranked 10. So this is setting up to be a really good one.
And Ramos off to a quick 4-1 lead. Now working on the back of Vasura. With a minute to go in our first half. Or first period, first half. This first period, 32-15 the score.
We've been doing a lot of basketball, Jason. So you caught me once before when I said nice match during a basketball game. So now we're 1-1. It seems like it always is pretty equal for you and I. And again, 4-2, 37 seconds remaining in period one, and some interesting decisions here. I never like to second-guess coaching staffs, but, you know, I was kind of wondering what they would do here, throwing out Vasura, because he could have wrestled at 170, which ended up for a pin for the Yellow Jackets. But, you know, it might be one of those where Vasura said, you know what, I need some really – I want to go in wrestling the best competition that I can wrestle. And it looks like we had a stall call there on Vasura, 17 seconds remaining. And, again, potentially dangerous. Ramos is getting to that ankle, but when he gets to that ankle, it's so low and Vasura's so tall that it kind of cranks on that ankle. And I think once you have an ankle injury in a match or a game, you kind of look for those situations. So good job by referee Paul Beach making sure both wrestlers are safe. We'll go 4-2, favor of Ramos. Heading into period number 2, Vasura will take down, trying to tighten up that lead a little, or cut into that lead a little bit by Ramos. And this would be a huge couple victories for the Yellow Jackets, Jason, heading into the section. You go 2-0 against two quality opponents, and, you know, not trying to jinx the Yellow Jackets by any means, but these would be a couple nice victories. And, you know, a lot of times it's who's the hottest going into that time. So
exactly. And you like to gain some momentum. You got 2 more tomorrow, and then you get ready for section tournament time, which is going to be unique this year with the way the setup has changed.
Right, and we'll probably be able to touch on that a little bit tomorrow. I got to do some reading up to how the super sections are going to work and all of the different things we can go through. But a nice escape there earlier by Vasura, so makes it 4-3, and then he turned right in to Ramos, and now Ramos looked like maybe a poke in the eye. So we're waiting here for Ramos to get some vision. Jason, you want to fill in on the basketball game?
The Yellow Jackets end up dropping a 67-55 decision to Moorhead. They fall to 12-3 on the season, but game for them, they were down big early, were able to cut it back into single digits. But the game that really matters for them, this is a huge game, even though the L tonight for Perham hurts on the record, it helps the QRF, and now tomorrow you play Fergus Falls, which a potential 1 through 3 seed hanging in the balance.
Right, and nice for the Yellow Jackets here to see Ramos back on the mat. Definitely a poke in the eye. It looked like they were looking for a contact right back into that single leg, but Vasura's length is causing a little bit of trouble here, and Vasura weighed in at 170, so wrestling up a weight class here. 47 seconds remain in your second period. 4-3, Ramos is in, and Vasura tried to deep waist that and pull him over, but did not happen. Ramos is I'm going to go further than pretty strong. He's a really strong individual, and you can tell Vasura is too, but takedown for Ramos makes it 6-3. 20 seconds remain in the second period. Would be a huge escape here for Vasura to keep it to get it to 6-4, and he's close. He's definitely to his tripod. 10 seconds remaining. They kind of hit a stalemate here a little bit. Vasura turns in, and that's close, but they're out of bounds with 6.4 seconds remaining. And this has been a cautious match, I think, for both wrestlers, as they know they're both in for a battle.
I also got to technically apologize for the spoiler alerts that we were given, because there might be some people that are going back to look at the stream later, but now they know what happened on that basketball game. But anyways, 32-15 team score. Yellow Jackets lead, and Ramos takes a 6-3 lead in the third period, which team score-wise, this is a big third period for Badger Greenbush Middle River.
Right, and Ramos takes down, so I look for a quick power up. He likes to roll. There's the roll. The danger with the roll when you have somebody long like Vasura is getting caught, and we've seen that a couple times tonight where wrestlers have gotten caught. They're ahead, and all of a sudden it's a fall situation, and it goes from good to ugly in a hurry. And Vasura's really working this on top here, and again, his length, I think, is proving a little tough for Ramos. And Ramos has been a takedown machine and kind of had his way with a lot of his opponents. So tonight's a good test here for Brian Ramos. Wrestling on the edge of the mat, Ramos gets his escape. Now leads 7-4, 1:10 remaining. Both sides kind of cheering on their wrestler, looking for some aggressiveness. Another takedown here would really kind of give Ramos, I think, cinch it up with 55 seconds remaining. Takedown for Vasura would really kind of tighten and put the squeeze on here, because back points could ultimately choose and decide the winner of this match. So a good wrestling. This is what you want to see coming to tournament time. Brian goes deep to that low ankle again, and Vasura takes a kind of a wild shot there, and it's kind of that desperate times take desperate measure. So Ramos just kind of walks around it. Takedown for Ramos, escape for Vasura makes it 9-4. 25 seconds remaining, and really a fun, hard-fought match between two really quality wrestlers. When you Vasura ranked 9 in 1A, and Ramos rated 10th in 2A, and spoiler never bothered me, Jason. I would watch it anyways.
I had a former partner that would always let me know if I gave a score out.
Another 2-point takedown for Ramos makes it 11-7, and certainly was a closer match than that. And that was just good competition right there. So a nice job. Vasura, you'll probably hear his name down at the state tournament, and hopefully for the Yellow Jackets you'll hear Ramos. So nice job by both of those young men tonight.
That former broadcast colleague of mine always enjoyed giving me grief when I would do that. So just if you happen to tune in and hear that, it was just an old reminder from back in the day.
Memories are a good thing. Waggy, Nathan Waggy, a junior coming out here at 195. Waggy had a nice match in the first one. Waggy, an accomplished wrestler, true second last year, lost to the state runner-up 9-1 in the state tournament. So lost in the second round 9-1. So put up a good battle in there. It was 33-21 on the season. Probably wrestling one of the unsung heroes, maybe I would say, Jason and Gordon Enyart. It seems like time and time again we would be in a score that might be 24-20 and Enyart would be on the mat, and all of a sudden he'd come up with a pin or a big win, and it would elevate the Yellow Jackets. And he has had a really strong year for the Yellow Jackets, and kind of a fun wrestler to watch, as he has an outstanding cradle. I summed it up, didn't I?
Yeah, I
was throwing it in your court, and I took all of the stuff with me.
Yeah, I was going to throw out the famous. I couldn't have said it better myself. And
there you go. Enyart's 12-5 on the season. Is really had some tough competition too. But so 12-5 is a nice record. And again, he's just one of those solid kids. And what I like most about Gordon is, I don't think it matters who you throw him out against. You know, whether it's Waggy, whether it been Vasura, he's just going to go out and wrestle as hard as he can in every match.
And 6 of his 12 wins or actually 7 now of his 12 wins have been by a pin. So,
and that's the danger of that cradle. And you know, he's just long enough, and he's really super athletic. You know, you look at him at 195 pounds, and he doesn't really look it. But if you study his actions and the way he's built, he is a nice, solid 195-pounder who is really extremely athletic. And this is going to be a good match, as Waggy, we watched him in the first one. He's a little more shorter and compact, but super strong and also super athletic. Again, as we hit next week, 1 second left in the first period, 0-0 score. And we'll see. It's Waggy's choice. He defers. Gordon says, I'll take down. As we head into next week, Jason, we'll be probably finding out fairly early the seeds for Section 8AA. And for Badger, Greenbush, Middle River fans, you'll find out for 8A. So if it started right now, I would think Perham's looking at maybe like a 4 seed somewhere in there in 8AA. But things can change.
So now I'm against me not fully knowing the format. Do you know, are they going east-west? Is that the plan this year?
I think they seed. In the past, it's been seeded out 1 through 12. And there's a takedown just as we speak for Gordon, and look for him to work towards his cradle or side cradle as we go here. But in the past, it's been 1 through 12, seeded through. So it doesn't really matter whether you're on the north or south, and there's his cradle. And he's just got a knack of getting that cradle in. And good job by Waggy just getting out of it, because most people do not get out once they're in.
I remember in the past that it was that way, but I didn't know if you or we knew. Yeah, we can. That's something we can do research for tomorrow.
We're going to have to do some research, as I'm not sure. But
COVID has changed a lot of things, and we'll talk about that tomorrow and get you set up as we head into section time.
Right, because it's going to be different than it's been in the past, and you're not going to see it. It went from everything being at the mini Ralph and Thief River to higher seed, and then ended up being in Perham last year, which was just a blast.
The atmosphere here was outstanding.
The atmosphere was awesome. To now, I think it's going to be at a higher seed, but there's going to be more than 2 teams going to that higher seed. So we'll know a little bit more. I'll try to catch up with Coach Vetch too sometime later tonight or in the morning, and we'll get an exact on what's going. So 3 points back fall, near fall points for Enyart, makes it 5-0, 10 seconds remaining, and Gordon's just super tough on top, and it really is a nice addition to this Yellow Jacket wrestling team. So it'll be 5-0 going into the third.
Yellow Jackets lead the team score 35-15, have had the team score wrapped up, but still we got some exciting matches still heading up here left on the card.
Right, some personal pride, and if you haven't seen Dominique Vasura, an NDSU recruit and signee for their wrestling program, it's worth the watch here. So stick with us, and you're going to see number 10 rated wrestler, and Rhys Wilprick's really been wrestling well. So
and also the now all-time most winningest wrestler at BGMR.
205 wins, as there's another takedown there for Gordon Enyart. So. So lots to talk about. Tomorrow we'll probably have some time to talk about it. We'll try to find a potentially dangerous call there. We'll try to find out some more answers for you, so as you tune in tomorrow. But, no surprise if you're following the Yellow Jackets. The same names you've heard for a while: Detroit Lakes, Thief River Falls, Pequot Lakes, Pine River Bacchus, Perham. DGF really has a nice team this year. So a lot of good things happening. So. Looks like we had a little break in the action, but I'm not really sure what happened.
It's now 7-1.
Seven to 1 lead for Enyart. 1:15 remaining. Enyart's got him to his back again, and there's the fall, and there was like 2 or 3 different cradles there for Enyart. So nice victory for Enyart. Takes the score to 41-15 in favor of your hometown Yellow Jackets.
Now wrestling at 220 pounds for leaders, Dominique, Vasura, and for Perham, Burr.
Aaron Burr for the Yellow Jackets. Dominique Vasura for Badger, Greenbush, Middle River. NDSU commit already for wrestling, and you can just see his quickness combined with his build. You can see why a Division I program is looking at him for wrestling, and he was fun to watch in the first one, upsetting number 9 in the state in 1A in the first match, and just did a great job. So 4-1 lead right away, doing the takedown and escape route. So takedown, escape route happening here, and now he's looking at tilt here, and he's getting some points going. So 1:24 remaining in the first period, and here comes Burr with a reversal. So just when you think 6-3 is now the score, and another escape for Burr. So Burr's had a nice night. He really wrestled against the Lakers very well, too, in the first round, and now doing the same thing here with Vasura. Vasura with the takedown makes it 9-3, and there's a lot of scoring for 220, and what I've been impressed with Vasura is that he wrestles more like about a 138-pounder. He's going after single legs. He's shooting for the ankle and doing a lot of things that you don't typically think of a 220-pounder doing, and I think that's what separates him from the rest of the field.
Another thing I don't know if you're able to touch on, his speed, I think, he's just a lot faster than, I mean, that's some of the things I know you're touching on.
Yeah,
but just
right. His footwork is tremendous, and speed, and just a great athlete, and you add those instincts to it. So 15 seconds remaining, 12-3 lead. So in the first period, 12 points thrown up by a 220-pounder. It's been fun to watch, and Aaron Burr, give him credit. He got that reversal. He's fighting. Did a great job in that first match as well, kind of keeping the score closer than what I would think that Howard Lake Waverly Winstead fans were. Did I say that right?
Yeah, wrong school though.
In the first one.
Oh, sorry.
In the first one, he did a great job where they thought they were going to get bonus points.
Sorry about that, Lance.
That's all right. It's been a long evening. So I definitely am never sure of what I'm saying at this point in the night. So, nice move there by Vasura, and this looks like a dangerously close to a pin, and there it is. So a nice pin there for Vasura. Throws 6 more points on the board and makes it 41-21. And it's one of those names that I talked about earlier that it's fun at this time of the year because you're going to hear his name when it comes time for the state tournament. Rhys Wilprick out for the Yellow Jackets. Dawson Beetle, currently ranked number 10 in Class A. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Really had a nice match, and it was one of those matches that was like 0-0 all the way through, and then all of a sudden some really funky moves for a 285-pounder class came out, and he ended up with a pin. So let's see what happens here. Rhys Wilprick's been wrestling really well as of late and kind of coming on to his own. And
as he comes in at 8-7 overall.
And so it's good to see Rhys out there competing and doing a great job and kind of being that anchor for the Yellow Jackets. I think the Yellow Jackets feel pretty happy now if it comes close in the end that Rhys has got a good shot to come through for them, and that's a good feeling. Here they are, Rhys. Oh, that's what happened in that first one. Rhys went for the throw, and Beetle just absolutely rolled right through it with him and comes up with the fall. So there again, Wilprick the aggressor, but Beetle just does it again, and you can see where he's going to be dangerous when it comes to Class A state wrestling, as you never know when he can do that. Our final score ends up being 41-27. If you give Jason and I about 60-second to a minute 20 or a minute and a half break, we'll come back and kind of wrap this up for you, get set up tomorrow's action, and we'll just come back and wrap up everything. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back in about 2 minutes with the post game.
Hi, I'm Jen Hendrickson, mortgage lender at United Community Bank. Whether you're buying, building, or refinancing, we are here to help you through the process and answer all of your questions. Mortgage rates are great right now. You can check out our website at ucbankmn.com to get pre-approved, sign up for Rate Watch, and check out our mortgage rate calculators. United Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Magnitude Sports has delivered over 1,000 broadcasts capturing all fourth quarter comebacks, walk-off home runs, buzzer beaters, 62-point volleyball sets, and double overtime victories. The excitement is on Magnitude Sports. Over 150 teams from 5 states and 2 countries have been featured on Magnitude Sports at both the varsity and sub-varsity levels. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and select your alert preference so you never have to miss that big moment from your favorite area sports team. Find us on Facebook and Twitter too. This is the Magnitude Sports Media Network.
Welcome back here at the Hive. Jason Groth, Lance Rock. The Yellow Jackets go 2-0 tonight as they pick up 2 big victories tonight, knocking off Howard Lake Waverly Winstead 39-34, and then BGMR 41-27.
Right, and I think it's one of those nights that it's kind of one of those that the coaching staff's probably going, we're back on the wrestling mat. We wrestled 2 really good teams. We did a nice job. We came away with 2 victories. Now we're ready to roll. And I saw some good things. Jason, you brought up some excellent points of how we handle that layoff. And for some kids, I thought they looked they looked fresher again, like they did at the beginning of the season. So maybe some time off wasn't such a bad thing as they head into into the tournament time and into playoffs. And like I said, we'll lock that all down and try to get some answers for you tomorrow. I have my ideas of what it's going to be like, but I haven't had them confirmed, so I'm not going to throw something out there that I'm not sure of. But join us tomorrow, and we'll make sure that we get those things. And it's going to have to be almost set because they're starting next week. So I would guess by early next week, if you're joining, you're going to hear what the seeds are and where everybody's going and what they're going to be doing. And so some exciting things, and I think the Yellow Jackets, a great match for Brian Ramos tonight against Caleb Vasura. And again, one thing I take about no matter if it's a blowout on the scoreboard, neither one really was. 41-27 is a nice wrestling match. There's always those names. I'm excited now to see how far Tony Olson goes from Greenbush. Gareth Covington. You really hope you know the Jack Fudges and the Brian Ramoses and Vasuras are going to make it to the state tournament. But it's kind of those other kids that now all of a sudden you hear their name or you see them on the thing and you go, yeah, they were tough. I remember them doing this. So a lot of good things came out of tonight.
I agree with you completely, and I think tomorrow will be a unique day. We'll have 3 matches here, but we'll keep it all on one stream tomorrow due to the numbers situation. So we'll have one stream going tomorrow as Perham hosts Crosby, Ironton, and Roseau. And Lance, I'll say this now tonight on your ideas that we have. I think you're going to be right, and we'll have those confirmed tomorrow for our broadcast. But thank you for tuning in, and a good bounce back after a layoff for the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, and I think it's just nice to be home, too. It's fun. That's one of the things that, Jason, you at the time you had a different job, and I remember my son Leighton and his group going through, and we spent a lot of time on the road. And it's great to go places, and it's great to be on the road, but it kind of like the Wizard of Oz. There's no place like home. And I think for these kids, they've gotten a lot of matches at home. Yeah, they haven't had the audience to see them, but you're watching them. And you know what? If you see them in the grocery store, you see these athletes, whether it's the boys' basketball team, the girls' basketball team, the swimmers, the wrestlers, congratulate them. Say, hey, I watched you on so-and-so network last night. You have no idea. You think they don't care, but they really do. And that's what got us started in this, Jason, is it's fun for us, but it was mostly about the kids. And I hope that's how it comes across, because we're certainly not professionals, and I made a bulk of mistakes tonight, and you guys bared with us. And but it's all about the kids and getting them out there. So when you see them, tell them you saw them on TV, and you will be surprised at the smiles you get.
And you also got to remember that you talk about your son's team that's traveling. I believe it was only 3 home meets because it was tough for Perham to find teams to come here.
Right. You did a senior night and a parent night, and that was about it. And there were no other ones, just to have a night to be at home. And
it's been an outstanding schedule that the Yellow Jackets were able to put together, facing some top competition, not just in AA, but as well as AAA and Single A. Get them balanced out, and now they close out the regular season tomorrow. Tonight they honor their parents, thank them for all the work, and they've put in a lot of work and dedication throughout the year, not only this year, but throughout the years in every sport, and it was nice to honor them before tonight's contest here at the Hive. Again, Lance, tomorrow is going to be unique. We've touched on it a little bit. Roseau only coming here with a limited amount of wrestlers. Good for them, trying to keep it going up there in Roseau, and they're going to bring their A game here to the Hive, and they're excited for their opportunity tomorrow.
Yeah, and one of the things that we should tell you that is, like you said, one stream tomorrow. I don't think there's set times. I was talking to AD Aaron Anderson, and he said we're just going to roll. So when one's done, we are going to have some JV matches, so we'll probably cover those live as well. So because they're going to happen in between the matches, and there's not a ton of them, so it'll be a good exposure. So if you know your son's on JV and might have a match, you may want to tune in as well. But there's no set time, so we're not going like I think we start the first one at noon. We're not going noon, 1:30, and 3. It's going to go noon right into the next one and right into the following one. Just out of fairness to Roseau and Crosby, that they can have a little bit of Saturday as well, and they've got a long trip to go. So it might be a shorter amount of time tomorrow, but please join us, and we're so thankful that you're making this a possibility by tuning in. And Jason, I want to thank you. I couldn't run all the controls if you weren't here for sure, and I hope it comes across that way at home because we love what we're doing.
Well, thank you very much, Lance, and we'll wrap it up. See you guys tomorrow here on the Magnitude Sports Network.
The proceeding has been a presentation of the Magnitude Sports Media Network. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and to order a DVD copy of this broadcast, simply visit msportsnet.com/DVD.